We're going to look briefly at finding the defense's indicator. And while this is a pretty simple process, if you could go through it and find these things for your players and teach them to use that information in a simple way, this is something that can be effective for you. So the first thing you're going to look at is kind of a big picture view. You're going to go through and just look at what's happening with their coverage. Some teams will just line up and show what they're going to do. Other teams, however, will try to disguise it, and usually they try to disguise from some type of too high shell. So while we might go through there, we might see some form of too high shell. We're not noticing, or I'm sorry, we're not at this point paying attention to the differences and where maybe different people are aligned. We're just looking for that consistency. So once we've determined that they do use a consistent shell, we're going to go through and we're going to watch and ID their coverages. So this is something we would do in huddle. We would put those in columns and again, just going through. So maybe they're into a quarters, like this example. Maybe in the next example, we still see what appears to be some form of too high, but a 3 cloud. Maybe they get into a fire zone where they're 3 under 3 deep, the free safety taking the middle of the field. Maybe they have another version where the nickel player takes the middle of the field and the safety comes down and plays the seam to the flat. After that, we're going to go through and now start to look at those cut-up lists that we put together. So maybe we filter out all of our quarters, and now we're just going to look at our quarters. Was there consistency where he lined up? So in this particular example with quarters, we noticed that he was lining up on or near the hash. When he would get off the hash and kind of split the difference, he would cheat off the hash, and now he was playing a cover 3, essentially where he was taking the deep third. The next variety, he was cheating into the middle, just inside the hash, and down a little bit maybe, and he was starting to fill for one of those backers who was going to blitz, and we'd be in a 3 under, 3 deep, and he'd be the whole player in the middle. And then the final example was where, he again, still 2 safeties high, but now he's favoring the middle of the field in order to be able to cover what he's supposed to do. So those are the variations. Once you know those things, that's something you can communicate to your players. You could put together those quizzes where they can look at that. And again, it's something that can be effective if you incorporate that into some of the decisions that they need to make either pre-snap or post-snap.